Okay, this is a vertical spice rack, hidden and counterweighted progress report. Now, the spice rack is done. For sure, it's got to be painted or colored or whatever. Although I'm thinking of not painting it because just cleaning it up. Because for one, I want to, by making this recessible, I want it to remove clutter. And if I make it pretty, I bet you the powers to be are not going to recess it. They're just going to leave it out all the time. So if it's a bit of an eyesore, it'll be out when it's used and hopefully in when it's not being used. This is, as they say in Spanish, historia de una muerte anunciada, meaning this is clearly going to backfire on me. But anyways, one reason I'm a bit hesitant to paint it because it's going to be going up and down through this hole here, which is quite tight, purposefully tight, so that it centers it every time it goes up and down. It acts as a bit of a guide, and it's going to scrape. Now, I could have made it a bit bigger and maybe put in felt, and that's maybe an idea for the next time around. I'm going to keep it like that for the moment, see how it performs, because there's a second one to go on the other side. Now, just because I had it lying around, I'm going to put this in into the hanging hole. It's basically a bolt with a spring and a plate, and it'll be the, never mind, oops, sorry, that's not focusing very well. Yeah, just basically, let's not move it there, and I'll just move my finger around it. So yeah, these, oh wow, it's going backwards. I go up and right, it's very weird to see my finger in the video. So there it goes. Leave it on the ground and we'll look at it in the ground. Effectively just to act as a bit of a suspension. The spring is not rated. I'm not a spring expert. Sorry, that's upside down. If you consider that will be inside. Most of this will be inside, and that will be springing out here like yay. So yeah, that nut will be redundant. That's going to be replaced by one of those threaded eye holes where the string or rope that goes to the pulleys is attached. Now, got to show this off a bit because this has to be, if you see the off circle here, these discs were cut out of a trace out of the pipe itself. I threw the cutouts out, but you can see it when you do the cutouts. You see that it's the inside of the pipe that is not smooth or consistent in thickness. So effectively, you're never going to get a perfect circular trace out of that. And then you would also have to kind of match that that error on the disc to the pipe. But as luck would have it, it's actually been good. I also used the worst disc at the top because that one's not going to be seen. I had a few mistakes. That's a mistake. That's not quite the pipe. The pipe is not that bad. That's more to do with the pipe, those little gaps. But as luck would have it, I was going to say, I did your typical trigonometry or geometry middle point of the arcs, crossing point to get the center hole. And I have never, outside of drafting class, I have never had the three lines totally align like they have in this case. It was a perfect match. I couldn't believe it. Anyways, great times. And that's it. And then I've made this plate here. This is the bottom plate with a circle. And this is the top plate that goes on top of the cabinets, kind of slightly larger than the cabinet, so it can be kind of act as a support beam for the pulleys. The pulleys will be going here. That's the center point I've marked there. So the pulley has to align the string to the center point, something like that. And then the other pulley is just to carry over the weight to where I want it to be sitting. So two pulleys, but not a, what do they call it, pull and tackle sort of arrangement. There's going to be no force reduction on this. It's just going to be transferring the rope or guiding the rope to where I want it to be. Getting that center point, so that aligns with the center point of the pipe. So getting that center point was tough. I wasn't trusting the measurements because there's a few things that are off skew in the setup. So effectively what I ended up doing was putting this in place, aligning it properly with the hold plate, and getting a laser pointer, which was actually my laser measuring device, to go through here and mark the spot on the top. Now I had to do it on a piece of paper because that goes, you can see the laser point through the piece of paper, mark the piece of paper, and then transfer it to the thing. But a pain, because I don't have a proper laser pointer. I only have that laser measuring device, and it turns itself off after a few seconds if you don't hit the measure button. So I had my wife getting it into place. I was up at the top on a ladder, a mess. By the way, now that I remind myself by seeing this, this is the weight of the shelf of the spice rack, fully loaded. So basically I loaded it up with spices and a bottle of wine, actually, to give myself the maximum weight. I'll then play around with the counterweight I use, but what I want it to be is a positive, so I want it to automatically close once you pull the latch. Again, make it easy to be retracted rather than have to push it up to retract and let it come down slowly. So that's it.